Okay. Yeah, I was telling about the difference between so I was telling about the difference between the programmer and the designer. See, okay, I was giving a example of what you called designer should be multidisciplinary. Okay, so see, you need to know all the design guidelines, principle. Okay, and you have to do your own research to put the users on a center, and you have to create the user empathy and try to connect with the user, and based on that you can build a kind of app. But beside that, beside the design idea and design mind, at the same times you have to be a kind of what do you call one stakeholder for the business, or you can say simply a CEO of that particular business. So why you need to be a CEO for that particular business is you have to understand the business model for particular app that you are designed for. For example, on your in your case that you said fintech, how fintech works from the start to end. You need to understand each and everything, how it works, how it flows. Okay, what is the procedure, what are the terms that are connecting with one step to another steps. So for example, let's say if you are thinking about the banking app, then you need to understand the banking transaction, how it works, and then you can create a link between one page to another page. Otherwise you can't build a what do you call application or a user interface without knowing the procedure or process. How can you build a kind of a user interface? See, for a programmer it's quite easy because the UX UI designer already sorry, already created the user flow, everything they created, just they have to put the link between one to point one to point B, and just they have to put the dynamics thing. Dynamically it should be updated and it should be linked. So they should able to know the coding things, okay, logical things. But as a designer you have to be a very open minded, and you are always a beginner in your field. Yes, obviously, you can be a master over the getting UX, what do you call, designer perspective, as a knowing the design guideline, or knowing the what do you call UX principle. But for the business model, you will be ended up with always as a what do you call a very beginner. See, sometimes what you have to do is sometimes at the one project you are working related with the fintech, at the same time or after ending this particular project, you may be ended up with the creating let's different app that will be a marketplace, B2B marketplace or B2C, any marketplace or e-commerce, or maybe a kind of CRM. CRM means a client relation management application, or maybe supply chain management. Anything can be there. Okay, so that is why you have to be a very open-minded person, so that you can accumulate all the things and integrate in a one particular idea, and co- build a connection between the multiple interfaces. So regarding the inspiration and regarding the ideas, regarding the aesthetics view, you have to follow the brand guidelines. Obviously one company has a brand guideline. If not, then if they hire a graphic designer or a brand what do you call it, corporate identity designer, and they will design a guideline for you. Or instead of them, and they sometimes if you have a capability to build a brand guideline for them, you might have to build a brand guideline for them. Okay, it depends on the how the company is. If it is a small organization and they were trying to build something, then you have to be like part of everywhere. Like you have to be a build a brand guideline, and at the same time you have to be a UX UI designer. At the same time you have to be a kind of website developer in WordPress or in any other way, if you have an idea and if you have a knowledge. Okay, based on your knowledge, that you can perform the task. For me, I always ended up working with a startup company when I was back in my home country, and most of the time I am a solo runner, and I have to do everything like like creating a logo, building a brand guidelines for the companies, creating a websites for the companies. Okay, and sometimes I have to be I have to create some kind of a book, or employer KPI management book, when we can evaluate their daily tasks, and then we can produce a report on a monthly basis or a weekly basis. So it depends upon how you are working in, what kind of environment you are working in, how you are seeing the things. So from top to bottom, you have to understand the business model, and then you can get the ideas for your application. So for sometimes for few ideas, you can see the Behance, in what do you call it, Pinterest and Dribbble. But you have to understand the business model, and then you can create any kind of app. This is how it goes. Okay. Yeah, this is the thing that I wanted to explain, and it's went a little bit far. I don't know. You are able to understand the things that I am trying to explain or not. Okay. Let's have a discussion about the inspiration, how we can get the ideas. So one by one, share your ideas, and we will discuss further more again. So yeah, start with the faith. You can share the ideas or things, how you try to get the inspiration, and how you try to like ideas, and how you will ended up doing something.
Okay. If I have a usually what I usually do if I have a website or an app I want to design, uh, I go on sometimes I go on Play Store,
Mm-hmm.
uh, download like maybe around 10 apps, right?
Mm-hmm.
When I get that, maybe it's just 10 apps. I download 10 apps. I look at what's already existing. I try to see how to come up with my own design, working with what is already existing. And that's what I do. For a website, I get like 10 websites. I study these 10 websites and then try to look for how I can build my own around those 10 websites or apps. So that's what I do basically. I only use Dribble or not
Mm-hmm.
Dribble, yeah. I only use Pinterest just sparingly because I know that Dribble and what's it called? Pinterest is basically UI centered. It's not UX centered,
Mm-hmm.
so that's where I work.
Okay, great. Okay, but see, yeah, as you said, everything is correct. Okay, okay, and initially, when you are in the stage of beginner field, then you can look for it, but try to look the real world. See, without seeing the real world, you can get the idea. So try to go with the nature. See, whenever
Yeah,
you see the,
yes. Sorry. Yeah, you just
mm,
reminded me of something. That's true. Yeah. I think the best designer is God, right? So there's no designer that can design as much as God does. So I
yeah,
think, yeah, you're right with what you're saying. Yes. Number one thing is to look at
hmm,
nature. Yes. Looking at nature, you're able to know, the way things work because humans we are how do I put it? We are we do things intuitively. Let me
we
use that
are
word.
not a creator. We are created by something, or that something
Good.
might be the God, right? So
Good.
we actually cannot create a something that is not in re or in somewhere else. We are creating something that is already there. Okay,
Existing.
yeah, everything is already
Yes.
existed, and that we are creating something out of it. But whenever we try to look the nature, while looking for the nature, don't look like a general normal people. Try to make it in a divided in a layer wise layer. For example, if you seeing a sunset or sunrising or down, there is a multiple color variation, but while seeing the multiple color variation, there is only shade of color. You cannot see there are multiple like red, black, white, everything. No, there is a shade of different shade of color. You can get the ideas. It's like shade means there is one particular main highlighted color, but there you can see the multiple shades of color. One particular color will be highlight or primary color, and other rest of the secondary color are based on that what do you call one color. And if somewhere in this, if we find a multiple color and multiple variation, and there is a kind of harmony between those color, there is a kind of blending nature is going on, that we have to try to understand from the nature. So don't just look, oh okay, we see the sunset or we see the mountains, okay, it's just a simple mountain. No, try to like divide in a multiple phases. Mountains also looks from closer a little bit darker. When you look a little bit further, then it's not a darker. It's kind of faded with the what do you call silver or a bluish or a kind of white blue kind of color is there. And if you go further, then there is a little bit different what do you called a color shade or color fade, saturated color fade we can see. So this is how you try to find out the color variation in nature. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I get your point.
Hmm.
I get your point. I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
Like
Well, yeah.
how do I put this? In the rainbow, if you look at
Hmm.
the rainbow, you'd see you have seven colors, and these seven colors create a harmony. But the truth of the matter is that these seven colors are as a result of three colors, and the way these three colors work, they tend to produce these seven colors that is so appealing. So there's this harmony, like you said. So this harmony is as a result of the way the colors are arranged. So if we look at the nature, we see the way the nature works. We can then try to, come up with something similar that is appealing. You know, something like that. Something like that would work.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I think Thamil is quite silent. I want to hear from your perspective, Thamil, regarding the inspiration and how to get the ideas related with the app or website or anything. What like see we are a UX UI designer, that means we are a kind of creative artist. Okay, we are a creative art, and we are building some kind of a piece of art that will eventually land it in the market, and it will stand in the market, and it will gives a kind of different views towards our user. So how you will get the ideas and how will you get the inspiration?
So basically, when I don't know about UI UX, we just scroll apps. We
Mm-hmm.
don't know much about how that works or not. We just basically we use the app. So when I came to know about the UI UX designing, I just got uh, I'm I was just curious to explore how the app works or
Mm-hmm.
how it is designed. So my very first inspiration was Swiggy app. So
Okay,
I hope you
Swiggy app,
know
yeah.
it. So yeah, it was quite good. Like I was amazed. The visual appearance is too good, and also the UX was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Finding inspiration in daily using app or day to day apps, uh, like it made me easy. Before going through Behance or Dribble something. So
Mm-hmm.
we just don't know how practically it works. We just know how it may appear or how it works, like the problem statements and all. But when I started to see inspiration through the day-to-day apps, I find these many things are there in the apps that we daily use.
Mm-hmm.
So Swiggy or Zomato, like that, and also some other apps like Snapchat and all. So
Mm-hmm.
basically, Snapchat. When I started reading about Snapchat, like consistency, if we use daily Snapchat, it gives streaks symbol, right? So
Mm-hmm.
uh, it makes the users to use it daily by just clicking a picture and sending it to friends. So the app makes the users to use it daily. So
Mm-hmm.
I really got amazed how this digital network have grown like that. So this is how I get inspirations.
Yeah, true. It's a good idea. Okay, and try to be a little bit critical at the same time, and try to like think out of the out of the box. And here, let me put you aside. Like while saying think out of the box means, I don't know how you are how you will see or how you will analyze the word that is think out of the box. So I don't know. I always confuse, and actually, I always wonder what is actually and how we can think out of the box if it is already there. So I want to know from the faith, so how do you think? Oh no, sorry, there is Arfad. Let's hear from you like regarding the inspiration idea first. So Arfad, would you like to add some points?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, sure, please go ahead.
Like the interfaces of the app, like regarding, I am curious about like LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a
Mm-hmm.
good app.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes people like fulfill the requirement regarding their education, graduation.
Mm-hmm.
Like people, like they'll come for in search of job. Some people are dependent on LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
like uploading their educations and the
Okay.
recruiting, the like recruiters, the person who hire,
Mm-hmm.
the person who is up for job. Like they are dependent on the application. They can virtually they can get a job.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes more difference. Like other apps, like we have money. Like subscription is there in every kind of apps, hidden subscription.
Mm-hmm.
Like all these are apps, like even compared to Zomato, like paying and getting, like it's a pop between, we can get it, like take give and take, like that. But in
Mm-hmm.
LinkedIn, it's quite we'll find our career future. We'll find the person who hire. Like it
Okay,
makes
if you
quite
okay, yeah, but let me put you one thing, and if you look into a like further feature in a LinkedIn, also you have to go with the subscription plan. It has a subscription plan
like
in for
most
LinkedIn
people,
also.
only 10 to 15% people are buying that subscription, sir. I have searched.
Mm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like majority of people won't use the subscription.
Mm. Okay, and
And the
have you
Telegram app,
ever okay, have you tried to like find out the percentage of the employer that how many percentage of employer non-subscriber are getting job in real scenario?
depends on the education, the background, the
Mm.
require, the what kind of requirement the company is hiring.
Mm-hmm.
Is they hiring like a accountant or a
Mm-hmm.
salesman
Mm-hmm.
or a manager?
Okay.
Depend on the qualification, experience criteria.
Okay,
Like
yeah.
I
Okay,
haven't googled the ratio.
mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, anyway, but here we are discussing the user interface inspiration. Okay, we ended up with a different topic with the Farfad. I think we can get the ideas of LinkedIn interface, but it is not much helpful for the designer. So it's a kind of like you can't be depend on a single application or single website for the user interface ideas for mobile application or
Yeah.
any kind of application. So you have to like research a little bit furthermore. And while doing or while getting inspiration ideas, then try to go with the what do you call look for the main domain app. Main domain app means, for example, if you'll be designing a kind of application that is for fintech, then go with the banking apps. Don't go with the first. Don't go with Drivel or Pinterest or Behance. Try to go with the multiple banking app. Try to download multiple banking app. Try to find out. Obviously, you need to log in to use the internal process, but initially you can land it with a splash screen and you can see how they are like trying to communicate with the user and how they are loading their screen. You can get the first initial idea. Once you if you are a first user of any kind of bank, then obviously you can get. And if you have a banking account, obviously you can have a digital banking on particular your own bank account, and you can check all the details and what are the process that you can get. Okay, likewise, if you are looking for any e-commerce website, there are lots of e-commerce platform that you can platform or website or mobile application that you can download and you can use it. Obviously you don't have to be a like anything or be specific customer for particular app. You can register very easily. You use your mobile number or use your email address and you can get the ideas. Okay, for e-commerce. Likewise, try to go with the real application. So visiting Dribble, Behance, Pinterest is getting the ideas for a few screen. For example, it's simply for me it's simply a aesthetic view. So aesthetic always depends on the company's brand guidelines. So a startup or maybe a very small company cannot go with directly with the application or anything else, or they cannot spend a high amount on digital format or a digital platform. So they always try to come up with a small thing. They wanted to say like, let's begin with our first websites, and then we will continue further if we like grow likewise. But if like companies are very big and they wanted to build a mobile application, that means they already have brand guideline, and based on that brand guideline you have to follow. Obviously there are some kind of layout management and layout what you call layout design and interface design. For that you have to follow, or you have to check the behind the dribble or some other platform. But do not depend, it will destroy your creativity, because you will stick or you will ended up with one particular frame set. So being a creative doesn't mean you have to stay. Okay, if you want to be a creative enough, then don't follow a specific guideline. Break the rule. And I was asking about the think out of the box, and I wanted to ask obviously with the
Yeah.
faith and the Tamil. So
Yeah.
okay, before putting my word, I would like to ask with the faith. Okay, 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 okay. Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Cause if I
I'm
reveal the
excited.
things, because if I reveal the things, then it won't be like fun for us to learn something. So before putting my word, I would love to hear from Faith. Okay, go ahead.
I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about this. You just took
Hmm.
some of the words out of my mouth. For
Hmm.
me, I like to learn the rules and break the rules.
Yeah,
Like that's
that's
what
great.
that what it means for me. And
Yeah.
of course, one thing I try to do is while I try to come up with ideas, I don't want to hold on to a particular idea. I don't want to see things as okay. This is one way that must work. I want to question everything. Why?
Hmm.
Why must we use this? Challenge all the assumptions, seek alternatives. Must we always follow this? That's my way of doing things. Of course, before doing that, I would like to go through the design thinking process. Yeah,
Hmm.
empathize with users, define the problem, and of course, what was it said? It's ideate and ideate and ideate and ideate,
Hmm.
prototype them, iterate, try what is not working, try what is out, try crazy ideas. In fact, there's
Yeah.
no crazy ideas in design. There's nothing like that is. There's no bad idea. All the ideas without negativity, just see them as an idea, and don't try to hold on to any particular idea. If it doesn't work, wait till the end. If it doesn't work, you move on to another one. But holding on to a particular idea that it has to be like this. No, design doesn't work that way. Design is iterate, get feedbacks, keep iterating until what works. You know, so
Okay,
that
yeah,
is.
let me put it one word, and that you said ideas never be a bad idea or wrong idea or anything. Absolutely correct. Ideas are ideas. No matter how it is look like a bad or messy or anything, but idea is idea. Anything can be idea, and that will be if we like be if we are a consistency on that particular idea, and if we try to build something out of that idea, then that idea is always a good. So this is the thing that you have to like understand, and that is the thing that you have to follow. Yes, let's go with the Tamil. What do you think about the think out of the box? Tamil, am I
Uh,
audible to you?
yeah, yes,
Okay,
sir,
go ahead,
yes.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead. Yeah.
So to think outside of the box, I think uh, we just have the design is already existing. Okay, so we have to
Mm-hmm.
recreate, or we have to make some like we have to add some plus points, or something like that we have to do. So the
Mm-hmm.
already existing designs are there.
Mm-hmm.
So what we can mainly do is like we can think of the idea like
Mm-hmm.
of or sometimes like we may miss little things like
Mm-hmm.
that one feature that app or website may miss it out. So
Mm-hmm.
if we add that feature, like if we find what they have missed out, so it may be a very little thing they may have missed out. So this is one thing, and second thing is the perspective. So if
Mm-hmm.
we start communicating with people, so
Mm-hmm.
we have one kind of perspective that for this problem we have this solution, but for another person the problem is different and their solution may also be different.
Yeah,
So
true.
if we communicate with other people, so we can get ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, thinking from our perspective and getting their ideas, like we can manage to get more ideas and we can find the easier solution way more possible.
Mm-hmm.
So and moreover, like we have to research
Mm-hmm.
so how this idea works, or like a creativity is just a spark. I feel that basically.
True,
So
true, true, true.
yeah, that's how we can go outside the box. Like we can think outside of the box.
Okay, okay. Arfa, do you want to say anything about the think out of the box? So regarding those terms, so how do you think and what it is? What do you think?
Yeah, sir. Same like Faith said.
Mm-hmm.
The idea.
Okay. Well, okay. Let me put you one thing in a very simple and straight forward. Okay. So think outside the box means breaking the rules. It just that is.
Yeah.
It takes me a lot time, a lot of years to understand the think out of the box. What it is mean. Just try to break the rules. For example, simply whenever you are creating a kind of app and you put a logo on a left side. For example, you put a logo on a left side. Cause you see every logo is on a left side. And if you try to think, why left side? I will put on a right side. Let's see how it looks. And if you try to experiment with your ideas by your questions, then that is thinking the out of the box. Because you are trying to breaking the convention or trying to break the rules. Okay, this is called think outside the box. So try to question and try to manipulate the things in a multiple ways. For example, in a Photoshop, if you are a good Photoshop user or if you have a basic idea of Photoshop, then there is a one word called photo manipulation. In photo
Yeah.
manipulation, we can see some big what do you call some small things sorry some small thing in real kind of scenario, but artist or photo manipulator put that small things in a very big manner, like let's take an example of mushroom, and they made a big mushroom, and under that mushroom there is one small human being. Have you seen such kind of manipulation in googles or anything? I think if you
Yeah. Yeah,
have
sir.
searched, then obviously you can get the ideas. So actually, they are breaking the rules. For us, generally, mushroom is like very small thing, right? We can what do you call it? Step on it, and we can just throw it, and we can destroy by our one foot. But in
Yeah.
Photoshop, they change the perspective of that mushroom, and mushrooms are bigger, and humans are very smaller. Likewise, that ideas implemented on one movie, that is red what do you call hazard red something the one comedian villain was there, it's a Hollywood movie. I forgot the name. Red Huzz or something. Oh my God, I just forgot the movie. They used that particular idea and they created a huge mushroom, and the person is quite small than the mushroom. So this is how they ended up with like thinking the out of the box. I mean, general breaking the general convention, breaking the general rules. For example, let's say while designing a kind of application, most of the designers say try to follow the F format or F layout. Most of the human eye always scan with left to right, but in GCC or in a Gulf country or in Arabic, we read from right to left, isn't it? So that means the principle also are biased, what we can say, like, isn't it? So for example, if someone says they go with the F follow, then in Arabic there is a different right to left approach is there. So people, all the peoples read from left to right, sorry, right to left, right to left, right to left, right to left. So there is no such rules are there, there is no nothing. It's just how you like put things in your application, and how you will alignment, and how you will guide the user to use your application throughout the process. So this is the basics thing that you have to understand. Every designer has their own perspective. For example, simply I have my own perspective, and some other designer have some other perspective. But when you are trying to learn something, do not follow a particular idea. For example, I'm saying that you have to follow the z kind of layout, or if I'm saying you have to follow the f kind of layout formatting, or you have to put the logo on the right side, you have to put the navigation on the left side. Likewise, if I say something kind of rules, and if I created some kind of template, no, you don't have to be like go with the blindly. You have to ask the question, you have to raise a question. Based on your question, how did you ended up with, whether it will like makes a positive impact on a real life or not. Just try to find out those answer, and if answer comes like a yes, it will obviously come ended up with the positive response, then you will go for it, you can go for it. And regarding the color theories, obviously there are some basic color theories. Okay, for example, if you use a red, then it will be a kind of revolutionary. Okay, and it will be a kind of change. But at the same time, red is a violation. It is kind of murdering something or bloodshed. So what you are trying to depict, and what you are saying, see, every color, everything has a black and white. I mean to say that there is a negative response and a positive response. It's just the way how you will present the color in your app, it matters. If your app has a lots of positive vibes throughout your picture, and throughout your text and the context of what do you call a textual information, and while you are building your app, and the app has a good interaction with the user and your app, then obviously it looks good. Okay, and if you try to look if you try to read the painting and some of the old design what do you call poster and things, they are like quite messy. They are the words are jumble here and there, like there are sometimes we feel it looks like a basic thing, but still they are a kind of different poster, and they are unique, and they grab the attention for the users. Why? Because they break the general convention or general rules. This is how the think out of the box works. That means you are trying to breaking the rule by asking a question with yourself. Don't ask a question with some other what do you call designer fellow or some other companies. You will always ended up with no negative answer. You will get it. So, for example, if you have a supervisor and he is not like from the background of designer or things, then if you ask, so I want to change this kind of looks to this, then how you will feel? Obviously they might feel kind of no, you cannot follow, you have to be a kind of this kind of format or rules. But instead of like asking a simple question, build something and go with the market, try to do some basic research and come up with the percentage result. Okay, if we create such kind of things with this kind of format, then the result is like improving in a vast majority. It will grab the user attention, and it can be like bloom in the market. If you able to show the number or figures or a kind of result, then finally they will accept the things, accept the what you called design. So simply design is a building a brand. So recently, Arfat mentioned the LinkedIn. So LinkedIn also social media site, and at the same time, Facebook also one social media. At the same time, Twitter also social media, and there are other lots of social media site also there. But each and every site has their own brand. For a LinkedIn, it's purely for a business. Social like Facebook, it's purely for the social convention and normal day-to-day life transaction things. TikTok and Instagram has kind of similar feature, but they both have different kind of what you called brand and their emotion connected with the user. So what we have to do is we have to build a kind of emotion, a kind of a brand for the product. Once we build a kind of brand, then the app and the design always go with like a different perspective, and everyone will love it. Well, I think this will be the end. I don't know. Faith just left. Whether he will join or no, I'm not quite sure. Okay, I think let's end this today's class, and tomorrow again we will talk about the wireframing. Okay, one more class, and then we will move with the getting some kind of interface, user interface ideas and inspiration, and then yeah, we will go likewise. Okay, is there anything, is there any question that you want to ask regarding wireframing, getting inspiration and getting ideas, and about the think out of the box? So do you have any question, Arfat and Thamil?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, no, okay, okay, great. Then thank you for your time, and thank you. First, I would like to say for Thamil, it's wonderful that you have done a great job on wireframing, and some other that you shared your personal point of view for the inspiration and the think after the. It's quite good. And obviously,
Thank
Faith
you,
is
sir.
not here for the Faith also. Let's say he's a good, and he's a good explainer also. He said his own perspective, and it's quite good. So yeah, thank you again, and we will see you on the next day, and we will continue further. Okay, thank you for your time. Bye bye. Have a good and great night.
Good night, sir.
Goodbye, sir.
Okay, okay. Bye.